and I'm from the Luce Library. Today I'm telling you the story of the Puss in Boots. Once upon a time, there was a miller who was so poor, when he passed away, he could have only left his son with nothing but a cat. The cat had a fine fur and a puffy tail, but in the end, it was still a cat. So, one day, the cat said, "I can turn your fortunes around." So the miller's son said, "How? You're nothing but a cat," as the cat was very small. So the cat said, "Just give me a pair of fine leather boots, and I'll be on my way." The miller's son thought anything is a try at this point. So he goes to his neighbor's house and borrows a pair of boots. He puts it on Puss, and then Puss goes to a fisherman's port. Once he's there, he went into a net, he grabbed a fish and pulled it out. Once he got the fish, he strolled into the king's palace and put the fish on the table. Once the fish was on the table, he said, "Your Majesty, this big fish is the compliments of my master, Lord Fortunato." The king said, "Lord Fortunato? Who is that?" "He is the most wealthiest nobleman you have ever met." After that, the next day, he brings more cherries, pets, and even gold bars. Until one day, the king said, "I must meet your master. Tell me, who is this Lord Fortunato? I will meet him for lunch tomorrow." And then Puss said, "All right, my master will be honored." Takes a bow and leaves. The miller's son said, "Honored? I'm very poor. When he sees me, he's gonna probably say, 'Off with my head.'" So Puss said, "Don't worry," and then goes to sleep. But the miller's son stayed up all night worrying. The next day, they went on a bridge when suddenly Puss pushed him off. The king saw this and said, "What happened?" Puss said, "Some robbers stole all my master's wealth that he was planning to give you, your majesty," and pushed him off the bridge and ran. So the king said, "Oh no!" And he immediately gives him the most finest clothes you could ever see. Once at lunch, they started eating and talking. The king didn't want only to see who this man was, he was also looking for a groom for his daughter. After that, the princess and the miller's son started talking for days, months, and more months. So after that, the king said, "Can I have dinner at your palace?" Puss cuts in and says, "My master would be honored tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So the next day, Puss goes to a rich countryside and tells the farmers, I heard you have an ogre problem here. If I take care of that, will you let me have this castle?" The farmer said, "Sure," because the ogre was a very mean one. But and they also said, "Be careful, the ogre has a lot of magic, and he can shapeshift into anything." So, the Puss in Boots goes to the castle and goes up to the ogre, who just finished lunch, and said, "May I see your powers? I'm a curious cat, you know." So the ogre said, "Sure, what do you want me to turn into first?" The Puss in Boots said, "How about a big elephant?" And the ogre did it, as said. After that, Puss said, "I know this is under your dignity, but could you turn into a small mouse for me?" The ogre said, "Why not?" and went into the mouse. Puss wasted no time, took out a bag, quickly opened it, and scooped it up and tied it up. And he put it in a cage somewhere safe. The king was just arriving at that point, and the king asked the farmers, "Who does this rich countryside belong to?" They all said, "Lord Fortunato," as Puss told them to previously. After that, they had dinner, and the king was like, "This is a good time for my daughter to get married. Let's get them married this very day." Lord Fortunato agreed, and they lived in that countryside forever, happily after. And if you're wondering about the ogre, after struggling to get out of the bag, lost all his magic. But Puss always comes by and drops a bit of cheese every night. The end.